You don't deserve this money, Patricia sneered through the phone, her voice dripping with contempt. I'm just making sure it goes to someone more worthy. I lay in my hospital bed, still groggy from the emergency C-section, trying to process what my mother-in-law was saying. While I had been bringing her grandchild into the world, she had ransacked my home and stolen $100,000 from my safe. Good luck with that, I replied evenly, my free hand instinctively resting on my newborn daughter's tiny back. The steady beeping of hospital monitors punctuated the silence. Patricia scoffed. That's all you have to say? No tears? No begging? You really are as cold as I thought, Olivia. I smiled, though she couldn't see it. Thanks for letting me know, Patricia. I need to rest now. I ended the call before she could respond, my hand trembling slightly as I set the phone down. My name is Olivia Chen, and at 32, I had just given birth to my first child while my mother-in-law robbed me blind. The irony wasn't lost on me. For 6 years, Patricia had made it clear I wasn't good enough for her son. My crime? Out-earning James. As an investment banker, I had built my wealth carefully, while James, a high school math teacher, never saw the imbalance as an issue. But Patricia did. A wife should support her husband, not overshadow him. She would say at family dinners, her disapproval simmering beneath every interaction. The fact that James was proud of me only made her resentment worse. And now she had taken what she thought was mine to punish me. What she didn't know was that I had been expecting something like this. It had started months ago. Innocuous questions about our finances, too much interest in where we stored valuables. Casual, almost idle curiosity. But I knew better. Then came the unannounced visits, always when James was at work. I caught her lingering in my home office, eyes flicking to the painting that concealed our safe. And 3 months ago, she had rifled through James's planner, searching for something she had no business knowing, the safe combination. That was when I made my move. The nurse interrupted my thoughts, checking my vitals. Mrs. Chen, your blood pressure is high. Try to rest, she said, glancing at my phone, still buzzing with messages from Patricia. Family drama can wait. You and your baby come first. If only she knew. I looked down at my daughter, Emma, nestled in her bassinet. She had James's nose, my chin, perfect in every way. And Patricia, in her greed, hadn't even asked about her grandchild. James arrived minutes later, his face pale with concern. Liv, Mom's not answering. She was supposed to bring your overnight bag hours ago. He stopped short when he saw my expression. What happened? I told him everything. The call, the theft, Patricia's cruel gloating. As I spoke, his face darkened. I'll call the police, he said, reaching for his phone. I caught his wrist. Not yet. There's something you need to know first. I laid it all out, my suspicions, the months of watching Patricia's every move. I knew she'd try something. I just didn't expect her to strike while I was giving birth. James sat down heavily, running a hand through his hair. I should have seen this coming. She's always resented you, but this is criminal. Don't apologize, I said, squeezing his hand. You're not responsible for her choices, and besides, I allowed myself a small smile. She's in for a surprise. James frowned. What do you mean? Remember when I had the safe service last month? He nodded. I did more than change the combination. I had them install a new safe, one with special features. Right on cue, my phone buzzed with an email notification. I opened it, the corners of my mouth curving upward. Want to see your mother in action? I asked, holding up my phone. James hesitated, then nodded. The footage was crystal clear. There was Patricia, using his planner to key in the combination. There she was, pulling out stacks of cash, a triumphant smirk on her face. What she didn't notice? The tiny red light blinking in the corner, recording every move. James exhaled sharply. Jesus. Keep watching, I said. The video showed Patricia carefully restoring everything, making sure no trace of her crime remained. She thought she had won. She hadn't. I don't understand, James murmured, eyes narrowing. That looks like real money. Because it's supposed to, I cradled Emma closer. Every bill in that safe is counterfeit, specialized movie prop money. The real savings, in another safe she doesn't know exists. James stared at me, realization dawning. You set her up. No, I corrected, meeting his gaze. I protected our assets from someone I knew would try to take them. There's a difference. And now we have undeniable proof. The phone buzzed again. An email from my lawyer, confirming receipt of the footage. So when you said good luck with that, I meant good luck explaining to the police why she stole $100,000 in fake bills. James exhaled, rubbing his face. She's going to lose it when she realizes. I smiled, watching our daughter sleep. She wanted to teach me a lesson about what I deserve. Instead, she's about to learn one herself. The first part of my plan had worked flawlessly. Now it was time for phase 2. The next morning, my phone exploded with notifications. Patricia had apparently discovered the truth about her stolen fortune and wasn't taking it well. The stream of voicemails ranged from furious to hysterical. How dare you trick me? Her first message screamed. You think you're so clever with your fake money? I'll show you what happens when you mess with me. Each subsequent message grew more desperate. By the 8th voicemail, her tone had shifted completely. Olivia, let's talk about this reasonably, she pleaded. It was just a misunderstanding. I was going to give it back, I swear. Think about the family. I played them on speaker while a police officer took notes beside my hospital bed. Officer Sarah Martinez had responded to our complaint within hours, her professional demeanor softening when she saw me recovering from surgery with a newborn. So your mother-in-law didn't even wait for you to deliver the baby before attempting the theft? She asked, shaking her head in disbelief. The security footage shows her entering our house at 2:47 p.m. James replied, his voice tight with anger. Olivia was in emergency surgery at that exact time. Officer Martinez made another note. And you have documentation proving the money was clearly marked as prop currency? I nodded, pulling up the purchase order on my phone. Every bill was marked for motion picture use only in accordance with federal law. I have receipts, documentation, and email correspondence with the prop company confirming everything. This is one of the most well-documented cases of attempted theft I've seen, she admitted. Usually we have to piece things together, but you've handed us everything we need. As if on cue, my phone buzzed with another call from Patricia. Officer Martinez gestured for me to answer it and record the conversation. Olivia. Patricia's voice was syrupy sweet now. I spoke with my lawyer. He says this could be very bad for both of us. How about we forget this whole thing happened? For James and the baby's sake. Both of us? I kept my voice neutral. I'm not the one who broke into someone's home and stole what I thought was $100,000. Broke in, she scoffed. I used the spare key, and I'm family. It's not stealing if it's family. Besides, you tricked me with fake money. That's basically entrapment. Officer Martinez raised an eyebrow, making more notes. Patricia, I said calmly, you entered our home without permission while I was having emergency surgery. You used a combination you obtained without authorization to access our safe. You took what you believed was $100,000 in real currency. The security cameras caught everything. How exactly is this a misunderstanding? You're twisting everything, she shrieked, her fake sweetness evaporating. James, I know you're there. Are you going to let her do this to your mother? After everything I've sacrificed for you? James took a deep breath. Mom, you tried to steal from my wife while she was giving birth to your grandchild. You haven't even asked about the baby. Do you understand how wrong this is? Wrong. Patricia's voice rose higher. What's wrong is having a daughter-in-law who thinks she's better than everyone else, who has a safe full of money while other people struggle. I was just trying to even things out. By stealing it? James asked quietly. By giving it to people who deserve it more, she snapped. Your sister needs help with her student loans. Your cousin Tom is behind on his mortgage. That money could have helped our family instead of sitting in a safe doing nothing. I exchanged glances with Officer Martinez, who was recording everything. Patricia was basically confessing her entire plan. So you were planning to distribute the stolen money to other family members? I asked, wanting to get it on record. It's not stealing if you're helping family, Patricia insisted. And now you've ruined everything with your stupid fake money. Do you know how embarrassing this is? I'd already told everyone I could help them. James put his head in his hands. Mom, who exactly did you tell about the money you stole? There was a long pause. Nobody, she said quickly, but we could hear the panic in her voice. Just a few people. It doesn't matter now anyway since it's all fake. This is all Olivia's fault. She set me up. Now, Patricia, I said firmly, you set yourself up. You chose to break into our home. You chose to steal what you thought was real money. You chose to make promises to people about money that wasn't yours. Those were all your choices. Well, I choose to tell everyone what you did, she threatened. How you tricked me. How you set up cameras in your home to trap me. How you committed the crime of protecting my property? I finished for her. Go ahead. Tell everyone how you got caught trying to steal $100,000 while I was having emergency surgery. I'm sure they'll be very sympathetic. Officer Martinez gestured that she had enough. I ended the call as Patricia launched into another tirade. That was enlightening, the officer said, reviewing her notes. She not only admitted to the theft but also revealed premeditation and plans to distribute stolen funds. Your lawyer is going to have a field day with this. As if summoned, my lawyer's name appeared on my phone. Speaking of which, I said, answering the call. Olivia, Lisa's crisp voice came through the speaker. I've reviewed everything, the security footage, the documentation about the prop money, and now this recorded confession. We have an airtight case. How do you want to proceed? I looked at James, who nodded his support. What are our options? We can press criminal charges for attempted grand theft, Lisa outlined. Given the amount she thought she was stealing, it would be a felony. Or we can use this as leverage for a different kind of resolution. Different how? James asked. Your mother has assets, Lisa explained. Property, investments. We could negotiate a settlement where she liquidates some assets to establish a trust fund for your daughter, the grandchild she ignored while trying to steal from her parents. I considered this, and if she refuses, then we proceed with criminal charges, and she faces potential jail time. Given the evidence we have, conviction is almost certain. James squeezed my hand. It's your call, Liv. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. I looked down at Emma, still peacefully oblivious to all the drama surrounding her birth. Let's start with a settlement offer. If Patricia refuses, then we'll pursue criminal charges. She needs to understand there are consequences to her actions, but I'd rather those consequences benefit Emma than put her grandmother in jail. Very diplomatic. Lisa approved. I'll draft the paperwork immediately. In the meantime, do you want me to file for a restraining order? Another call from Patricia lit up my phone screen. Yes, James and I said simultaneously. As Lisa hung up to begin the legal proceedings, I settled back against my pillows, suddenly exhausted. The adrenaline of the past 24 hours was wearing off, leaving me drained. You should rest, James said, noticing my fatigue. I'll handle Mom for now. I nodded, already feeling sleep creeping in. Just think, I murmured, someday we'll tell Emma the story of how her grandmother's attempt to steal her parents' savings ended up creating her trust fund instead. James laughed softly. Somehow, I don't think that's the story Mom imagined when she opened our safe. As I drifted off, I couldn't help but smile. Patricia had thought she was teaching me a lesson about what I deserved. Instead, she was about to learn an expensive lesson of her own. And this was just the beginning. The next week unraveled like a slow-motion disaster for Patricia, each attempt to salvage her reputation only accelerating her downfall. Ignoring the cease and desist order from our lawyer, she launched into a social media frenzy, casting herself as the wounded party. My cruel daughter-in-law set me up, she ranted online. She tricked me with fake money just to humiliate me. But instead of sympathy, the responses were merciless. So, you're admitting you tried to steal $100,000? One relative commented. While she was in emergency surgery, added another. And you still haven't met your grandchild? A third chimed in. With each defensive reply, Patricia only cemented her guilt. By the time she realized she was digging her own grave, it was too late. Screenshots of her posts had already been forwarded to our lawyer and added to our legal arsenal. The settlement meeting was scheduled 2 weeks after Emma's birth. In Lisa's sleek downtown office, James and I sat on one side of the conference table, while Patricia and her reluctant-looking lawyer sat on the other. The contrast was stark. Lisa was composed, armed with neatly organized folders of evidence, while Patricia's lawyer looked like he was already regretting his involvement. Lisa opened the meeting with calm efficiency. Mrs. Harrison, we're prepared to offer you an alternative to criminal charges. She slid a document across the table. You will liquidate your rental property and investment portfolio to fund a trust for Emma. The total should approximate the amount you attempted to steal. Patricia's face darkened. This is extortion. You're trying to ruin me. No, Lisa corrected smoothly. We're offering you a way to avoid a felony conviction by making restitution through a trust for your grandchild, the one you ignored while committing a crime. Patricia turned to her lawyer, expecting backup. Instead, he sighed, shifting uncomfortably. Mrs. Harrison, given the overwhelming evidence, this is an incredibly lenient offer. Lenient? She hissed. They're bleeding me dry. I finally spoke, my voice even. Not at all. You're only giving up what you tried to steal. Consider it karma. James squeezed my hand under the table as Patricia launched into a tirade about family loyalty and my so-called cruelty. But we'd expected this. Patricia had never taken responsibility for anything in her life. Why start now? Lisa, unfazed, simply closed her folder. You have 48 hours to decide. If you decline, we proceed with criminal charges. Then, silence. No calls, no messages, no social media rants. And on the morning of the deadline, Patricia's lawyer called Lisa. His client would accept the settlement. 1 month later, Emma's trust fund was formally established, ironically, larger than the sum Patricia had tried to steal. The rental property sold quickly, and the stock market had been in her favor. In the end, she lost more than she ever could have gained. She moved in with her sister in another state, still refusing to meet Emma, but that didn't stop her from crafting a new narrative. Online, she became a martyr, a devoted grandmother cruelly kept from her grandchild. But the family saw through it. Even her sister admitted, she's always been entitled. Maybe this will finally teach her a lesson. As for us, life moved on. Emma grew stronger each day, filling her home with laughter. The safe behind the painting remained, now empty except for the prop money. A quiet reminder that sometimes the best defense isn't confrontation, it's preparation. One evening, as we watched Emma sleep, James shook his head with a rueful smile. Mom always said you were too obsessed with money. But in the end, she's the one who let greed destroy her relationship with her granddaughter. I ran a gentle hand over Emma's soft curls. Sometimes people tell you exactly who they are. You just have to be ready when they do. The security cameras in the safe still blinked silently. We never needed them again. Patricia still told her version of events to anyone who would listen, spinning tales of betrayal and trickery. But now, when people heard her story, they didn't ask why I had set up cameras. They asked why she was trying to steal from her own son's family in the first place. And sometimes the most damning lessons are the ones people teach themselves.